I'm Dr. Jordan Wiggins, and this is the Pleasure Principles podcast. Join me on this journey where sex, science, and sensuality meet. Let's change the conversation around sex and pleasure together. Welcome to the Pleasure Principles podcast. It is a beautiful fall day here. I have a big day today. Pleasure Principles call, Feminine Mentorship call, 3 one-on-one clients, and I'm recording this podcast for you, which means I'm highly caffeinated, had a little too much dairy this morning. Don't know if you can hear that in my voice, but it's the way it goes. So this podcast, it's gonna be big. I think you might need to listen to this one twice. So I'm gonna jump right in. So it is my belief that sexual health and wellness and having connected relationships is the key that so many successful women are missing. When we have relationship strain at home, stress, we can't care for ourselves, we're not happy, we're not fulfilled, we feel alone, and it still holds us back. It holds us back from our potential. And really what the world needs now more than ever is fulfilled women, fulfilled, intelligent women that can make shit happen. We need the feminine. We've seen what the patriarchy does. So it's time. It's time for us to lean in and learn the skills that we have not been taught so we can stop all this madness. But I don't want to get political or global or economical. That not the point for today. Also not my wheelhouse. So I'm Dr. Jordan Wiggins. I teach multiple 6- and 7-figure women how to have the sex, health, and relationship of their dreams. I'm a naturopathic doctor, author of my book, The Pink Canary. Stay tuned for book number 2 on burnout. I've been published in dozens of international media outlets like the Washington Post and Cosmo. I'm a mother, I'm a stepmother, I'm a divorcee, and I am self-made. I know I get a lot of DMs, not so much anymore, but I used to get some DMs and say, or clients that have even shared with me after that they had an initial reaction to seeing me and seeing my work. And it was like, oh, it must be easy for her because she must not have kids. She must, her parents must have given her money or whatever. And those excuses that we use to other ourselves from pleasure, from joy, from the life that we desire, like, oh, well, must be easy for them, I can't have that. That whole thinking is a part of the problem. So wanted you to know that I have all of those things: step family dynamics, ex dynamics, and I'm a mom and I'm self-made. So if you're sitting there going, must be easy for her, actually wasn't. So listen to this podcast today. We'll dive a little deeper. My work, what I realized was holding most women back was feminine burnout. And feminine burnout is going to affect you in 2 or 3 of the following areas. If you're listening, you're probably a superwoman, you're probably a perfectionist, and no, you don't need to score 100% on this. You need to score about 70 to say that you have feminine burnout. So it's going to affect you in the area of health, not taking care of yourself, not feeling your best, not making health a priority. I just got off the phone with a superwoman last week, and she said that she didn't go to the dentist for 10 years. busy, professional, children, all of the things. And you know what? I have been there too. I didn't make the time to go to the dentist for years when I was in med school and I was opening my business. It was just not a priority, or I didn't make myself and my health a priority. Maybe with health, you know what you should be doing. You've paid for the classes, you've paid for the practitioners, but you don't follow through. And the classic symptoms that affect burnt out superwomen are fatigue, irregular periods, weight gain or difficulty losing weight, mood swings, we like to call it crustiness in the Pleasure Collective, hair loss, and digestive issues. But maybe you've sorted out your health. Maybe you've done the work, made that a priority, and your health is good. Feminine burnout might be affecting your career or wealth, ability to generate income. Because sex and money and worthiness, they are all connected. This is root chakra energy, life force energy. So if we are blocked in our sex and love and relationships, there is some level of block also in career and wealth. But superwomen usually push through and fight through when it comes to career, and they keep achieving there. But when they try and apply the same skills to sex, it doesn't work so good. So career and wealth, you're not motivated at work. You're feeling less creative. You might be fantasizing about leaving your job, or a job that used to fulfill you doesn't fulfill you anymore. Maybe you stress about money. I speak to women daily that earn 200,000-300,000 annually, and they still have money stress. Maybe you are the breadwinner and you're managing the household, so there's some resentment there. Another area that being a superwoman is affecting your life is sex. So there's two ways that this can happen. You can have low libido, not really any interest in having sex, want to do it just to check it off the list because you know you should, or you think it's a part of a healthy relationship, but that like desire, that passion, that fire that lights you up is gone. Or you could have the higher drive, but you're lacking that connection and intimacy in your relationship. Maybe you feel rejected by your partner. Maybe you had the higher drive and you felt rejected, so you've turned it off. You've just kind of forgotten about that part of yourself, compartmentalized that need or that desire for yourself because it was painful. And you know what? I might even add a third thing in here where I have superwomen that they're like, yeah, sex is good. They can have sex. There's no pain. They orgasm. But then we heal the burnout. We get them to feel their feelings. We get them to be present in their body. And then I get messages that they're like, after a retreat or after an intensive one-on-one coaching session with me, I'll get messages and being like, wow, I went home, or after that call, I just had the best sex of my life. And that's because, like I said, it's all connected. So unless you are, let's put it this way, unless you are having connected, want to tear each other's clothes off sex, and no, this is not an everyday thing, especially if it's life, it's busy, we're tired, sometimes we're bloated, like this is not an everyday thing, but you should have that kind of like primal desire from time to time. And if you don't feel that with your partner, if you don't know how to cultivate that with a long-term partner, then that counts. Give yourself a check. And another area that feminine burnout would be affecting you is love. Your relationships feel lacking. This could be you feel like roommates or good teammates, with your romantic partner. Maybe there are affairs. Maybe you're having one. Maybe your partner has had one. You don't feel connected as you want to your children or to your female friends. So there's really, there's a block there. There's some walls up. So if you have 2 or 3 of those areas affecting you, or it sounds like I'm speaking to you, you have feminine burnout. So we know the areas of your life that feminine burnout is affecting. Now, are you stuck in the feminine burnout cycle? And because it's a cycle, it almost makes it harder for us to do something about. Because if we got stuck in the crash all the time, we'd need to do something about it. But we get back in the game and we keep going until we crash again. So let's talk about the feminine burnout cycle, and then I'm going to talk about what has been going on with me, because I'm a superwoman. So I still get hung up here sometimes. So stage 1, over functioning. That's where we keep pushing without asking for help. We are ignoring our bodies, symptoms. We're ignoring the warning signs, and we just keep going. So I have been running, had a baby in COVID, moved, built a house in the last 2 years. So we've actually moved twice while this was getting ready, running 2 big businesses, and I just kept going. Now I've learned, I teach this, so I have my checks and balances in place, so I can tolerate a heck of a lot more than I used to be able to without the crash, but it still got me. So we're doing a lot. We're doing all the things for everyone else, and we are not good at tuning into our own needs and our own desires. Not great at asking for help. So what happens? The next stage of the feminine burnout cycle is the crash. Something out of our control forces us to stop. An illness, an injury, panic attacks. And in this stage, you're probably still trying to do as much as you can. So I spoke to a client that talked about an injury that she has, a knee injury, that when she gets really stressed, she will always seem to tweak it or re-injure herself at the gym. And then she's upset that she's on crutches or needing to rehab, and she's at 50%, not 100%. So it's frustrating. It ends up adding more to your plate. And even I hear this often where we're at home sick, and instead of resting, we're still trying to send some work emails. So even when we crash, we don't really crash. Stage 3 is repeat. So rather than addressing the problem, we're jumping right back into the cycle, right back into overfunctioning. Superwomen, it's like, unless we cannot walk or we are physically in bed, we're trying to keep going, or we are doing whatever it takes to get back in the game as fast as we can. And then it's like, oh, I'm fine. And then crash again. So look at your life, examine, where is this happening? Because I'm sure that it is. And I'll tell you my most recent. So every 2 months for the past 6 or 8 months, I have been getting sick. Super nauseous, vomiting, diarrhea. I had tested positive for Campylobacter when I was traveling this summer. So I thought I had food poisoning. So I just sort of wrote it off, did what I needed to do, the IV therapy, the probiotics, the gut healing, did the things, and got back in the game as soon as humanly possible. 2 months later, what happened again? Crash again. Same symptoms, only worse. Also had hives all over my body and COVID at the same time. So it was like, is this a odd presentation of COVID because the gastro symptoms and the hives is happening? Is this a new food allergy that I've developed since being pregnant? Anyways, I'm getting myself back in the game as fast as possible because I have businesses to run. In fact, I was closing down my medical clinic, which anyone who's ever, well, moving the business virtual, but getting rid of the physical space. So anyone that's ever closed a business, it is as much work as opening a business. So anyways, I was crashing, doing everything that I could, and I had all the tools at my disposal to do it fast as possible to get myself back in the game to continue to overfunction. And I never really stopped, and I never did the testing to figure out what was going on because it was like, oh, I'm back, I'm good, let's move on. I got shit to do. And then I had to examine and look at myself and go, oh, crap, I teach this stuff. I'm doing it again. So now I have all my appointments booked. I did a ton of testing. So we're going to figure out, is it an allergy? Is it a hormone thing? Because this also seems to keep happening right before or just when I get my period. So investigation, even though I am well again and I am capable to function at 100%, I'm taking the time, the effort, the money to figure out what was going on because I want to break that cycle. The feminine burnout cycle happens to superwomen. Superwomen are perfectionists or recovering perfectionists. Oftentimes they'll be like, oh, that used to be me, but not anymore. So do you like to do your best and like to do things right, like other people to approve that you did things right? Another sign actually that you're a superwoman is that you'll listen to this list and resonate with over half of it, but tell yourself that it's not 100%, so it must not be you or you must not need to do something about it. Well, let me tell you, superwoman, it is you. If you feel like I'm talking about you, talking to you, wrote this about you, listen to that. Don't look for like the 2 or 3 reasons that this isn't you. That's your perfectionist coming up. You're an overachiever. You never feel like you did enough, that you could have done more. So I delivered a retreat for the ladies in the Feminine Mentorship, my year-long invite-only program. And there was ease in my teaching. And I'm used to being nervous, trying to get it perfect. And because there was ease in it, and although I was getting DMs and the participants were saying how groundbreaking it was, how it was amazing. And then I was questioning, well, why did that feel so easy? Instead of just going, this was awesome. I was in my zone of genius. There was flow there. I started to question it. Like, did I do enough? Should I have done more? Even though I taught the same retreat last year and already taught more this year. So this sneaks up, even for me. Another sign you're a superwoman is you think 10 steps ahead for everyone, for your colleagues, for your employees, for your children, for your partner, and try and like prevent them from failing or prevent the bad things from happening. Also, you struggle to relax. You think about what you could be doing. You feel guilty. You can't celebrate. Had a client tell me for her month end, she had the biggest month that her business has ever had. And she was listening to one of my training videos and went, I didn't even celebrate it. Like, I just kept on moving. So, not celebrating. not liking to celebrate yourself, your accomplishments, not liking to be the center of attention. Pretty good sign you are a superwoman. Another sign you long for deeper, more connected relationships with your partner, with your kids, with friends. And you probably feel pretty alone under it all. Another sign you struggle to care for yourself. I got off the phone with a client that didn't go to the dentist for years. She didn't make the time. And if I'm honest, while I was in medical school and opening my 7-figure women's health clinic, I didn't either. I was so focused on growing that business, gross revenue, net revenue, helping, like more importantly, helping the women that was in front of me day to day, and then focusing on all the business stuff at night. So nutrition and fitness is the first stuff to go out the window when life and work gets crazy. And you know what? You don't need more tips on how to take care of yourself, what supplements to take, what to eat, because you probably already know. You need to figure out why you aren't doing those things, why taking care of yourself isn't a priority. You are a fixer. People come to you for help at work and at home. You're the go-to person when shit hits the fan. You finalize and check other people's work. You let them take credit for your work. And finally, you are either in a roommate relationship where the spark is gone, or divorced like me and noticing the same patterns starting to creep up with your new man. Or regardless, there's something missing. You're longing for something, you're yearning for something in your romantic relationship. These are all signs that you are a superwoman. Many of the women I work with go to therapy. They did it, it helped a little, but then they stopped going because they didn't have time for them. They weren't getting the full result that they wanted. Other things in life took over. Also, the sex tips, the podcast that you're listening to, the articles that you're reading, maybe the online course that you bought, didn't work. And they didn't work because if you are a superwoman, your relationship doesn't need a band-aid. It needs an overhaul. And I will tell it to you straight because I see it over and over again. A woman that I'm going to speak to tomorrow filled out an application to work with me, and she spent about $10,000 a year for the last year on band-aid fixes that didn't work. Also, your antidepressants that you've been prescribed and didn't take, or you took a low dose, they help. They keep your brain from spinning, but you know there's more. It didn't fix the whole thing. Also, the latest fad diet didn't work because you either didn't have time to stick to it, or you are so stressed you can't ask for help. Your cortisol is all over the place. You're inflamed. So even if you did it, maybe you didn't do it long enough, or you didn't do the right diet and exercise for being a superwoman. I get it. I have been there. I have worked with women exactly like you. I know you. I am you. You are strong, smart, capable, the kind of bitch that you want in your corner when shit hits the fan. But you're also someone who can't relax, who can't laugh as hard as you used to, who doesn't feel connected with her partner or her kids, who can't just be, whose pussy is probably numb. I want to help you connect to yourself again so that you can do both. You can be a superwoman when you need to, but you can also connect and rest and celebrate. Connect with your inner feminine, the skills that you have forgotten probably since childhood, or it's been conditioned out of you. when you need to, because we need both. What you need is someone who gets you, who gets your past, who gets why you are the way you are, who gets the guilt and shame that you feel when you try and stop overfunctioning and start caring for yourself, and the chaos that ensues, who gets the intense longing for something better, and also understands the fear that comes with that. The fear that I know I need to do this work, but I'm scared that if I do, it's going to blow my life up. Let me tell you, that is one of the things that I love doing, is helping women do this without the blow up. We know that I have done it, and I've done it big. So when we can do these changes and make these shifts from our feminine, then we mitigate the blow up. It comes from love. Things happen naturally, and we can get our partners and our kids on board and to come along with us, not like we're pulling the rug out from under them. You also need someone that understands how alone you feel and how much you're doing to keep it all together right now. If this resonated with you, if it spoke to you, you know who you are. I would love for you to work with me. It is why I created the Feminine Burnout Recovery Program. It is one-on-one coaching. It is so transformative for the areas that you are stuck: sex, health, love and relationships, career and wealth. You're going to get out of it 10 times what you put in, because when we fix one of these areas, it positively impacts all of them. If we can teach you how to ask for what you want in the bedroom, then you better believe you're going to be able to ask in the boardroom. You're going to be able to ask your kids to unload the dishwasher without a fight. So let's take that next step and make life better for you, for your partner, for your kids. And let's get you that connection, that love, that spark. Let's get you back to who you were before the Superwoman conditioning got in the way. Visit, and I'll put this information in the show notes, visit thepleasurecollective.com/feminine burnout recovery to apply. Have a great week, everybody. If you like what you heard in this episode, leave me a rating. Your support helps me get discovered by more women like you. Together, we can change the conversation around women's sexual health and pleasure for you, your partners, and generations to come.